Mina, konnichiwa, JesusFreakinGamer here. Here with a fairly heavy message today. I've been doing a lot of those recently, and depending on where you are in the Bible, some messages are light and fluffy, some messages are hard and heavy. So let's do another hard and heavy one. Here we have Saul in pursuit of David, trying to capture him and kill him, even though he had been the most faithful and powerful person in his house, and even married his daughter Mitchell. So this all revolves around someone called Ahimelech, who was a priest of the Lord, and he helped David out a few chapters ago. So let's start out in verse 14. So Ahimelech answered the king and said, "And who among all your servants is as faithful as David, who is the king's son-in-law, who goes at your bidding, and is honorable in your house? Did I then begin to inquire of God for him? Far be it from me. Let not the king impute anything to his servant, or to any in the house of my father. For your servant knew nothing of all this, little or much." So yeah, Ahimelech helped out David and actually hooked him up with Goliath's sword, of all things, and gave him some bread for him and his men. And so Saul calls him before him, and apparently his family's there as well. So verse 16, "And the king said, You shall surely die, Ahimelech, you and all your father's house." Then the king said to the guards who stood about him, "Turn and kill the priests of the Lord, because their hand also is with David, and because they knew when he fled and did not tell it to me." But the servants of the king would not lift their hands to strike the priests of the Lord. And the king said to Doeg, "You turn and kill the priests." So Doeg the Edomite turned and struck the priests, and killed on that day 85 men who wore a linen ephod. Also Nob, the city of the priests, he struck with the edge of the sword, both men and women, children and nursing infants, oxen and donkeys and sheep, with the edge of the sword. Now we've already discussed how in this day and time, genocide was not wrong. And I believe, since God authored it, it was not wrong. It wasn't the wrong thing to do. I will not condemn the action of genocide or the murder of everyone in a city, men, women, and children, at all. I'm not going to condemn it because God himself did it at times, as we saw in the Old Testament. The real question is, was their judgment righteous? See the New Testament where Jesus himself said, "Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment." Google's your friend. Yep, not going to tell you where it is. Google's your friend. It's not so much that it's wrong for those in authority to make war or to kill people. I don't think much of anyone would argue that war itself is wrong unless you're a complete pacifist. And there are many who would argue that the death penalty is wrong. There are many who argue it's okay. I believe the death penalty is okay, even today. And I absolutely believe in self-defense as well as war and the death penalty. I believe in all of those things. The question isn't, should they be done? The question is, was it right to do them? And the subject of righteous war is another topic for another time altogether. Not one I'm incredibly well versed in, and this wasn't war. This was a one-sided massacre. The king destroyed an entire city within his domain. Again, not necessarily wrong to do. And that in and of itself is a hugely controversial statement. But the real problem was Saul was against the Lord, and he killed a bunch of innocent people who had done nothing wrong. That was the greater issue. Saul himself was in the wrong personally because he was in rebellion against the Lord. And that's actually the point of that chapter. And even though it was controversial, I wanted to bring it your way and submit it for your thinking. And by all means, leave in the comments below what you think of the entire situation and of this message today. And thank you guys very much for watching. I love you. God bless.